Welcome back to Organ Makers. Today we're going to finish the garden fence. Here's a little quick overview of what we're doing here. And we're going to start by cutting dog ears. And so I did it with another fence 90 degrees to the saw because I kind of had varying widths, and as you'll see I'm also going to have varying lengths. So that's the reason I cut from the top. And in last video we made the gates, so this is the bigger one, and I did the hinges in the bed of my truck just to have a level surface. So I've blocked up the gate here with some scraps and just kind of leveling it out to that first board I put on the right, and then there's two fence boards that are holding the hinge. Get everything level there, make sure it swings. And I'm noticing that the crossbar, the rail there, it didn't line up with the rail of the gate, so I'm moving that down a little bit. Like the look of that. And now we're going to start putting the fence boards on. So I'm using a little spacer. 1 inch gap is the key here, but I'll alter that a little bit to make it visually correct. So I've got a board at the end of the gate, so my gaps might be 1/8 of an inch either way. Obviously forgot to turn on the camera when I installed the gate hardware there, but now you can see me finishing up the fence, just keeping everything level as I go across. And all these fence boards are 3 feet tall. Gonna start working on the other side here. And I'm using a battery powered finish nailer, so it's a lot easier to just pop a finish nail in each of the rails and then come back and screw it once you get everything where you want it. Gate opens and closes, making sure everything's flush. Looks good. Moving on. This is how I do the screws. I want them to all look similar. So the best way to do that is just measure it out and run a string line, and then I'm alternating. So each board is going to get 4 screws, 2 per stringer, and I kind of alternate them. Okay, so now you can see the stringers are on either side of the post. We changed the plan of this fence many times. So originally it was going to be on the outside, which is traditional for a garden fence, as you have the pickets on the outside. And the homeowner kind of wanted them on the inside, and I suggested we alternate. So I did a couple sections here, and this is like the 3rd section. And then I gave them a couple days to look at it, and they decided that they wanted all the fence boards to be on the inside of the fence. They have 2 young kids, and they didn't want them climbing up on the inside of the fence. So here's the spacers I'm using to make sure everything works out fine. And I have different widths. They're all 1/8 of an inch apart, and of course the 1 inch spacer, which is kind of my key there. This is how many times I took fence boards off and put them back on because we changed the plans. These are all the nails that I pulled out from removing a fence board and moving it to the other side of the fence and putting another fence board in, and just getting all the gaps and everything perfect. One of the screws there was funky. So that's kind of like my scrap pile from the project, are all these nails I pulled out. All these nails. And then I discovered, after doing my great latch that you saw in the last video, that yeah, they have a toddler and he can lean on the gate hard enough to make it open. So we decided to go with a bolt latch here. So I'm putting up a piece of 2x material paper and we'll paint it to match the house. And using a Vicks bit, that's what that is, for the screws, and lining everything up. And the latch being on the top and the gate being so short, you can just reach over from either side, and the gate swings both ways. So if you're inside, you can push it out. If you're outside, you can push it in. Drilling a hole in that.
Okay, let's take a tour. Front gate. Everything is level all the way across. Starts out at 3 feet here, and then the hill kind of goes away from us here. They have moles. These are mole traps. They work pretty darn good. And then as the hill goes down, I've kind of stepped the boards down here. And then all the way down on this end, their dog's favorite toy is a milk container. It's 50 inches. So level at the top here, and the boards get bigger as it goes down. Gap here, kind of a low spot right here. Homeowner wanted me to leave it like that. They're gonna fill that in a little bit because it is a low spot. And then other gate back here, more traditional fence. Bigger gate so I can get their riding lawnmower through. Stainless steel hardware. I always do stainless steel because it's easier to touch, doesn't get funky. About 3 miles inland from the coast here, but still pretty wet. And I'm gonna have to probably hit that again with the block plane. It's still a little tight when it got wet, swelled up a little bit, so I'll do that next. Galvanized strap hinges there, just for the weight of the gate. They're that big, and to save some money because stainless steel hinges that size are about 3 times more expensive. But yeah, this is the fence project. Looks pretty good. Cows out there in the background. And the town of Cloverdale. Nice project. It looks good. It looks rustic. And yes, we had some warm weather, so the daffodils are already up. And the farm dog and the chicken in the background. He was pretty sweet. Although he's wet and he stinks right now. And chickens. And then I was able to work in a dry spot here. Yep, there's the chickens. Yeah, it's raining out today, so they don't want to be out there either. So yeah, that's the project. All the redos I had with the switching of the fence, that's my leftovers, which we'll use for something else. And it's lunchtime on the farm. Fence project done.